Hey guys, Math 1500. I tell you, in an ideal world where students came to class, students watched my videos, students did what I asked them to do, and students trusted me, where uh, they watch a video or they come to class and things get a little tough, and they think, well, there's got to be some easier way. The Darbro's not teaching us, guys. If there was an easier way, I would teach it to you. So it really doesn't matter whether this class is online or in traditional way in the classroom. Students always have issues with these z-score tables. And in this format, a lot of students are like, well, I looked through a couple of your videos and I didn't see where you taught us. No, I don't teach that. And I told you in the videos, if you're watching them, that I do not teach z-score tables. I teach the calculator. But some of you, some students, and again, this happens every semester, so it's just not you guys. And I understand, learning becomes frustrating from time to time. And secondly, if you, when you get on the online course management system, if you have problems, it refers you to the z-score tables. But guys, I don't teach that because I think they're too hard. I think the way that I teach it is much, 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 much easier. So I don't. But anyway, I want to show you, for those of you that are obsessed with these z-score tables and just seem to want to use them, I want to just illustrate three problems, and then I want to show you how we do it with the calculator and show you why I don't teach tables. To me, calculating a probability of a score from a normal distribution using z-scores, the z-score table. I mean, dude, that's like taking a horse and buggy to Columbus. You don't do that. You get in your car. You got your air conditioning. You put your whatever. It's to me it's just outdated, and there's better ways to do these things. And it's one thing I don't like about this textbook is it teaches it this way. So anyway, I mean, let me just show you what a problem, and I'm going to keep it simple here because there's no reason to get too difficult because it's difficult enough. So let's say that IQs we know are approximately normal with a mean of 100, standard deviation 15. Find the probability that a randomly selected person, a person is selected at random. Find the probability that their IQ is greater than 120. All right, now, you guys who are obsessed with these silly tables, here's what you would have to do. You would first have to calculate the z-score. So we want the 120 minus the 100 over 15. So let's put that in our calculator and see what the z-score is. I can do that in my head, but I'm kind of a math geek, so and there's nothing wrong. I mean, if you can't, it's not a big deal. I'm sure you have talents that I don't have. Probably many of them. 120 minus 100, we get 1.33. Now, guys, z-scores will round to two places. Now, just for z-scores alone, this tells us that a score of 120 is 1.33 standard deviations above the mean of 100. Now, if you are just hell-bent on using these z-score tables, what you do is you come to this table and you look at the picture up here and you see that the information here gives you the area below the particular z-score. So we want to find 1.33, so I have to come here to the 1.3, and then I have to come over here to the 0.03, because if you think about let me go over here and write this. If you think about 1.33, this is equal to 1.3 plus 0.03. So what they do is on the columns they give you the hundredths, and on the rows they give you the tenths. All right? So we come here on the table to 1.3.03, and we come here and get this answer of 0.9082. But that's not the answer because this chart gives us the area below, and we want the probability of getting an IQ above. So what we have to do is from our chart, we get 0.9082, and because we want above, we have to subtract this from 1, because the area 1 underneath the curve. And we get 0.0918. All right, I don't know how long that took. I'm gonna say 3 minutes. How would I have done that with a calculator? Normal CDF. I want above 120, so I'm going to go from 120 up to E99. Put in the mean of 100, standard deviation 15, and I am done. Now, the answer is off a little bit. The reason being is this z-score wasn't 1.33. It was 1.33 repeated decimal. But your table rounds everything to the hundredths place, so your probability is going to be off a little bit because it's approximated. This calculator number, the 0.0912, is much more, well, I don't know about much more precise, but it is more precise than the answer that we get right there. All right? Now, what if we have an area below? Well, these aren't bad with the table. Of the 3 types I'm going to show you, this is probably the most straightforward. So we know the gestation periods for adult women are approximately normally distributed with a mean of 266 days and a standard deviation of 16. Find the probability that a woman is selected at random and her gestation period is less than 240 days. Well, you got to calculate your z-score. Let's do that. All right, so we get negative 1.63. Now we got to go to that silly chart. And on this side, you'll see that we have all positive numbers, so we have to go to a different table, and this is it right here. Now, so we're looking at negative 1.63, so I've got to come to the negative 1.6 and come over to the 0.03 and hope that I get these columns and rows right. And it looks like to me it's 0.0516. This number right there. All right, so our answer, 0.0516. All right, gang, with the calculator less than 240, what would we do? Well, we go to normal CDF. Less than, we always start with negative E99. 240, comma 266, comma 16. Guys, we're done. 0.052. You can see it's off just a little bit, but this is a better answer than the chart gives us. Now, the most complicated type is, let's say that we know that ACT scores are approximately normal with a mean of 20.4 and a standard deviation of 4.6. We select someone at random. What is the probability that their ACT score is between 19 and 24? Well, gang, with your calculator, (19 to 24), mean 20.4, 4.6. I'm done. 0.4026 is the answer. Now, if I have to fart around this silly table, I got to first of all calculate 2 z-scores. So I got to calculate the z-score for 19. And that's negative 0.30. I got to calculate the z-score for 24. And and I got 0.78. I've got to use this table to find both values. So 0.78 will be, let me get over here on the right side. 0.78 will be 0.7. We come all the way here to 8. Hope I get this right. So I have 0.7823. And then I have to go to negative 0.30, so I have to go to the negative side. So that's negative 0.3. So I'll just use this one right here. Oh, I got to go all the way up to the side because up here is 0, right? So I have to come all the way over here and look at 0.3821. Now, what do I do with those numbers? Well, I have to understand that to get the area between two values, I have to take the area from the biggest one, 0.7823, and subtract out the area from the smallest one to get this area right here. So now I've got to go to my calculator and put in 0.7823, hoping I don't make a typo, and 0.3821. And I get 0.002. Got us off a little bit. This is a better answer. This is approximated because our z-scores are. So guys, do what you want to do. I made it clear in the very first video that a TI-84 calculator was required. And if you don't have that, let's check R out. Let me bring R up, which I also told you that you were going to need the first day. If I'm going to use this first problem right here, let me get split screen here. And you're probably detecting a little bit of frustration in my voice, and I tell you I am, because I take a lot of pride in being able to get statistics to you in the simplest way I know. Guys, I've taught this class over 100 times. If there was an easier way to do it, I would teach it to you. Okay, so this one right here, IQ greater than 120. Well, the command on R is pnorm. And that finds these probabilities. This is the value that we want. Then we got to put in the mean and the standard deviation. Now this value, I'm just going to put value because it can be a z-score, it can be anything. If it's a z-score, put in a 0 and 1 for the mean and standard deviation. If it's a IQ, put in 115. But this will always give you below. So if you went above, you just have to subtract it from 1. So right here, I want above 120. So I know I've got to go 1 minus P norm, the value of 120, the mean, the standard deviation, and guys, I get the answer. Okay? And it corresponds to what we get on the calculator. If I want this, then I'm looking at below, so I don't have to do the 1 minus. So I have P norm less than 240 days. When we have a mean of 266, standard deviation 16. Guys, I'm done. 0.052. I just don't get it, really. I don't get it why you would want to use the table. This one, we've got to take the area below the biggest one minus the area below the bottom one. Well, that's not too bad. So we're going to have P norm 24, 20.4, 4.6. And then we've got to subtract the area P norm of 19, 20.4, 4.6. And we get our answer of 0.0426, which corresponds completely. Guys, calculating these probabilities, use technology. Don't use those stupid tables. It's quicker. It's more efficient. You get a better answer. Um, so, I mean, I don't feel at all guilty. I have shown you this, and I've shown you with the calculator. But I don't think I've motivated. Well, no, I haven't. I haven't motivated well enough because I was hoping you'd take my word for it. I haven't motivated well enough that the tables are just harder to use. They take longer. They just do. And again, so those of you are saying, "Well, I didn't know we have to have a calculator." That just shows me that you didn't watch the first 3 or 4 videos because I made it very clear. So, guys, I will have my nice voice back on the next video when I start teaching you again. But I just can't stress enough. Here's what I think the best thing you can do with these tables right here is this thing right here. Just split it. Go start a fire with it. Safe fire, right? And get rid of those daggone things and use the calculator like I've taught you in the videos. Guys, take care.